Well, that's an interesting question because there is a movement, kind of a movement of the student housing industry. Used to be more the residential industry. There are more hybrids now, kind of coming up with the hospitality industry, and the student hotel is a good example of that. And I think in general, more focus on experience, more focus on service, more focus on brand, more focus on shared spaces, just like what happened in the hotel industry in the last years. That's also what's happening in the student housing industry. So it's not just a box, a room, a bed, and a shower. It's way more than that. It's more about the experience. And in that sense, yeah, that's the development that's only just beginning in Europe, and I think that's where the opportunity is, and that's also where it's headed.
Maybe we're a little bit behind the times on this one. I haven't seen the student hotel concept yet in the U.S. I think our business is become a more mature one in that for the developers, the concept of purpose-built student housing is really the main theme and has been that way for about the last 5 to 8 years. That is to say that typically in the U.S., if you're building something from the ground up today for student housing, each unit would have its own bedroom and bathroom combination, and then shared common space. So a typical building is usually a mix of 4 bedroom, 4 bath, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, so on and so forth. Students sign a 1-year lease. They sign an individual lease for their bedroom and bath. So if you're building a project focused on undergrads, you'd have more 3s and 4s. It drives down the price on a per bed basis. All those leases are now guaranteed by parents. And so what I would say the predominant theme in the U.S. has been a more institutional type approach to managing student housing, and therefore the resultant factor is that there's quite a bit of demand by institutional investors to invest in student housing, which was probably of the variety of alternative investments in the U.S., student housing, senior housing, medical office, and of those, student housing is probably the last to really gain a lot of institutional favor because of the perception that properties are sort of beat up during the school year and lots of administrative issues. But I would say that the key 2 themes now seem to be a wave of capital interested in investing in student housing because of its fairly predictable cash flow returns, even in down years. We were able to actually maintain our occupancy through the great financial crisis as well as moving rents. We find that more people go to college during downturns, and so they stay in school longer in the U.S. So there are a number of demographic trends that are really quite favorable. I'd say the one thing about the student hotel concept is we've actually had a meeting with WeWork, and of course they are now rolling out We Live, which is a combination of their sort of shared office space concept for multifamily living. And I suspect, because they came to see us, that they're now thinking about, a We Live for students as being sort of their, on their drawing board. So I think it's coming, but we haven't seen it yet as any kind of disruptive technique.
If I may comment on that, I see what I see happening in that combination, much more combinations of working, sleeping, living.
Yeah.
Tribes is doing the same thing. They're under the umbrella of Oak Tree Capital. They are combining working and sleeping with a hotel concept as well.
Yeah.
Spaces came from the same root, Citizen M, so to speak. I haven't seen any combinations there. I don't think they will ever be there. But for sure, there's a new trend going on right now in the communities we live in. Students is one thing. Working, sleeping, living integration is for sure. It's coming. It's there already, but it's going to accelerate, in my view.